What if I told you your cat has a private set of rules they expect you to understand without ever saying a word? Most people assume they already know what their cat wants. Food is filled. Water is fresh. The litter box is clean. And attention is given when possible. But that is only the surface. Cats live by quiet expectations. And they watch your behaviour far more closely than most owners realise. They notice the small things, the repeated things, to the things you do every day without thinking. And when those little moments keep going wrong, they usually do not protest loudly. They simply become a little more cautious, a little less open, and a little less trusting. So let's begin with one of the most misunderstood rules of all: eye contact. Have you ever looked directly into your cat's eyes and felt like they suddenly turned away for no reason? It probably seemed harmless. Maybe you thought they got distracted or lost interest. But in your cat's world, that's a hard stare does not feel affectionate. It feels intense. It feels confrontational. For cats, prolonged direct eye contact carries meaning, and that meaning is not always friendly. In nature, a fixed stare can signal tension before conflict. So when you hold eye contact too long, your cat may not feel adored. They may feel pressured. That is why cats often respond much better to soft eyes, a relaxed face, and a slow blink followed by looking away. To us, that seems subtle. To them, it is polite. It is calming. It is one of the clearest ways to communicate safety. In other words, the loving thing is not to stare deeper, it is to soften more. And once you understand that, the next rule starts to make a lot more sense too. Petting. Almost every cat owner has had that confusing moment where a cat seems completely content, maybe even purring in your lap, and then suddenly turns and bites your hand. It feels random. It feels unfair. But most of the time, it is not random at all. It is the moment you cross their limit without noticing the warnings. Cats have a threshold for touch. Before they bite, their body often tells the whole story. The tail may start flicking. The ears may shift slightly. The skin along the back may ripple. The body may stiffen just enough to show the mood is changing. But because the moment feels sweet, most people miss those signals. What begins as comfort can slowly become too much. And once that line is crossed, your cat reacts the only way they know how. The lesson is simple. Keep petting sessions shorter than you think. Pay attention to the body, and let your cat be the one who decides whether the moment continues. That is not distance. That is trust built the right way. Another rule many people accidentally break without realizing it has to do with your cat's favorite place in the house. Think about that one spot they always return to. Maybe it is a folded blanket near the window, the same corner of the couch, or even an old box you almost threw away during cleaning. To you, those things might feel temporary or unimportant, but to your cat, that space is part of how they understand their world. Cats organize their environment through scent, familiarity, and repeated routines. When they choose a location and keep returning to it, they are not being random. They are building security there. So when furniture gets rearranged, blankets disappear, or favorite resting spots are moved without warning. Your cat can feel unsettled in a way that is easy for humans to overlook. Their safe reference point quietly disappears, and suddenly the room does not feel the same anymore. Instead of seeing changes as neutral improvements, cats often experience them as disruptions. That is why even small adjustments inside the home can lead to hesitation, reduced appetite, or changes in daily habits. The solution is not to avoid change forever. It is simply to make changes gradually whenever possible, and respect the locations your cat clearly values. When you move something slowly instead of all at once, your cat has time to adapt and rebuild that sense of stability again. Another surprisingly important rule happens during mealtime. Many owners enjoy standing nearby while their cat eats, talking softly, or reaching down to pet them while they are focused on their food. It feels caring and natural from a human perspective, but from your cat's point of view, eating is one of the most vulnerable moments of the entire day. Even indoor cats still carry instincts shaped by survival. When their head is lowered at the bowl, part of their attention is always checking the surroundings. If someone hovers too close, touches them unexpectedly, or keeps talking nearby, they cannot fully relax into the routine of eating. Over time, this can create subtle tension that shows up in small ways. Some cats begin eating too quickly, others pause frequently while looking around. In homes with multiple cats, placing bowls too close together can create that same quiet pressure between them even when humans are not involved. The best approach is simple and respectful. Give your cat space while they eat. Let those few minutes belong completely to them. That small change alone can make mealtime feel calmer and more secure. One more rule many owners never notice involves what happens the moment you walk through the door after being away. It may seem like an ordinary part of your routine. You step inside, put your things down, maybe check your phone or head straight to another task. But often your cat has already noticed you before you even realize they are there. When a cat approaches you at the door or watches you enter the room, that is not random timing. That is a greeting. Cats create social rituals with the people they trust. Just like they do with other cats, they feel comfortable around a raised tail, a soft sound, or simply showing up nearby is their quiet way of saying they recognize your return. When that moment passes without acknowledgement, nothing dramatic happens right away. Your cat does not complain, they simply adjust their expectations over time. But when you respond with something small, like a calm word or a gentle blink, you reinforce that shared routine and strengthen the connection they were hoping to maintain all along. There is one final rule your cat follows that quietly brings everything together, and it is something most people never think to pay attention to at all. It has to do with where your cat chooses to sleep at night. Maybe your cat curls up right beside your face, stretches across your chest, settles near your legs. Or maybe they choose a chair in another room instead. At first glance, that choice can seem random or simply based on comfort. But for cats, sleeping locations are never meaningless. Sleep is when a cat is at their most defenseless. Their senses relax, their muscles release tension, and their awareness of the environment drops lower than at any other point in the day. So wherever they decide to rest deeply tells you exactly how safe they feel in that space and around the people inside it. When a cat sleeps close to your face or directly on your chest, they are making a powerful statement of trust. They are placing themselves in their most vulnerable state right beside you without hesitation. That is not just affection. That is confidence in you as part of their safe world. When a cat chooses the foot of the bed, the message is slightly different but still meaningful. They want to be near you. They enjoy your presence. But they also prefer to keep a little space where they can observe and move freely if needed. That is not distance in a negative sense. It is simply a sign they are still learning your rhythms and building certainty over time. And when a cat regularly sleeps somewhere else entirely, it does not mean they stopped caring about you. It usually means something in their daily experience is still making them cautious in ways that are easy to miss. Sometimes it is eye contact that felt too intense. Sometimes it is petting that lasted a little too long. Sometimes it is a favourite resting place that disappeared without warning, or greetings that slowly stopped happening at the door. The important thing to understand is that none of these signals are permanent judgments. Cats are always observing, always adjusting, and always ready to rebuild trust when their environment begins to feel predictable and respectful again. Every small change you make that follows their quiet rules helps them feel more secure, more relaxed, and more willing to stay close to you. And once you begin noticing these patterns, you start to realize something surprising. Your cat has been communicating with you clearly the entire time. They were never silent. They were simply speaking in a language most people never learned to recognize until now.